Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Paperweight Entertainment Podcast, your home for all things Marvel, DC, Star Wars, and so much more. Join Derek and Ian as they tell tales to astonish along this journey into mystery. Grab some snacks and settle in because Paperweight Entertainment starts now.
Welcome back to the Paperweight Entertainment Podcast. I am your host, Ian Torrance, and I am alone this week. If you're wondering, well, am I going to hear the soft, sultry, sometimes angelic voice of Derek Hoskins tonight? You're not. If you want to hear that, too bad. Listen to a rerun. I'm flying solo tonight because I'm actually talking about a video game that Derek has not played because Derek's just awful at video games. That's not true. He just hasn't had time. Neither one of us have really had time, so I'm just kind of throwing this together. This isn't going to be a real lengthy, in-depth review. This is just my experience playing the remake of the game Alone in the Dark. For those of you who have never heard of this game, good, stay away. JK, on a serious note, it's a remake of an older game, which is considered a classic. There was a PlayStation version of this called Alone in the Dark, New Nightmare, I want to believe. And let me tell you a little ditty about this game. I was a young boy. Okay, I was a teenager. I wasn't a young boy, but I was a teenager, and I went to my local Blockbuster on a Saturday night. That's right, I said it, a local Blockbuster. And I went into, I would go there. My dad would take me frequently. I'd go in weekend, rent a few movies, give me a PS1 game, and go home, enjoy my weekend. Well, I and I don't know why, but I'd several times attempted to rent this game, and I'm assuming they just had the one copy, but I could not get this game to play on my PlayStation 1 at all. I don't have any rhyme or reason for it. For whatever reason, it just wouldn't read the disc. So after renting it several times and not being able to play it, several attempts on trying to play it, I just gave up. And I mean, that was God, you're talking over 20 years ago. Uh, so I still to this day have not played it since the release of this game. They have re-released it for PlayStation Plus for you to go on there and stream and play. I can't play it because every time I look at it and I think, you know what, I should actually download that. I should actually download that and play it. Since I didn't get to back in the day, I just get angry. I get so angry, and I just remember being in Blockbuster, wasting a weekend renting a game that I couldn't play. I know what you're thinking. You wasted a whole weekend. Why didn't you just return it immediately? I don't know. I might have. That was over 20 years ago. Sue me. I don't remember things. With that being said, I'll dive into this review. Okay. So here's the plot of this game. You are Edward Carnby or you are Emily Hartwood, and you're going to this estate to look for Emily's uncle who is in this institution, and he's got some psychological issues. Upon your arrival, nobody is really overly friendly. Actually, I take that back. Some of them are too overly friendly, and some of them are just straight up dicks. There's no in between. There's no in between character. You're like, oh, that's the best of both worlds. No, you're either overly excited or overly dickish. Like I said, no in between. Um, I decided to start the game playing as Edward Carnby because I like David Arbor. I think he's a really good actor. Nothing against uh Jodie Comer, I think is how it's pronounced. Nothing against her. I thought, you know what? This is Resident Evil 2 style. I can play through, I can do Edward Carnby, then I can go back and I basically I would go back. Sorry, I got a text. I was distracted. That's what happens when you do multiple podcasts and play as Emily Hartwood's character. I played through as Edward Carnby, and I thought, you know what? Once is enough. It's not a horrible game by any means. Uh, we'll start off with the acting, like the motion cap, the dialogue, everything. Fine. I've got no problem with the acting. I think everybody did well. Like I said, I don't blame the actors for bad character writing. Um, I will say this. There's no explanation on the creatures, in my opinion. There's not a good enough explanation. There's just these green, mossy, algae covered goblins that just come out of nowhere. Um, what you have to deal with is I want to say it's a 6 shooter pistol. That's how you start off the game. To be expected. I get it. Survival horror and all that shit. That's fine. The issue I have with this is they give you the option of picking up different weapons, and it doesn't, in my opinion, it doesn't matter what you pick up. You can pick up a shovel, a pipe, a sword. I don't think that's an option, but I'm just giving you an example of it doesn't matter what you pick up. To me, it's the equivalent of swinging a fucking pool noodle. You are beating somebody with a pool noodle. And for those of you out there thinking like, well, pool noodle, have you ever been hit by one of those? Oh, that really hurts. Grow up. No, it doesn't. You're not going to take down a mossy, demonic eh, algae monster with a pool noodle. And again, if I'm picking up different weapons, they all shouldn't swing the same. I don't feel like the damage rating on any of them differentiate between the two. Sometimes you pick up a short range melee weapon, and it'll have the. I mean, it's you can barely swing it. You know what? I'm gonna get off the melee weapons. Uh, the main weapons are okay. The pistol, eh, I feel like back in the day when you used to play games, if you shot something in the head, 2 or 3 shots, it's dead. You got to use a lot of ammo. That's my complaint about the remake of Resident Evil 2. I will say this though, they do give you a lot of ammunition. I hardly ever ran out of ammo. So it was nice to be able to use that melee every now and again. And sometimes you could just run by creatures. You don't have to worry about it, but for the most part, you did have to take them out. The only other options that I remember is you get a pistol, a Tommy gun, and a shotgun. If there are other weapons, I don't remember them, but those are the three main ones I remember as Edward Carnaby. I do not know if they differentiate between Edward or Emily. I The only thing I can tell you for certain is this game overall was terribly enjoyable. And what I mean by that is the mechanics are shit. There's a dodge button where you can dodge out of the way. You're still gonna get hit anyway. For the most part, you don't. You can dodge out of the way, and you could use the combination of melee weapons to kind of wear them down. And there are other various objects throughout the environment you can pick up. I think they're kind of like awfully placed. If you run by, I'll put it to you like this: it's like The Last of Us. If you run by a brick, you can pick it up, and then you can throw it, and you can hit them with it, and that's great. And there are bottles, and they explode, and they engulf them in fire, even though there's no flame on it for some reason. Neither here nor there. I've never actually tried to pour alcohol on moss, so maybe it does combust spontaneously. Who knows? I feel like when I'm running to pick this up, the mechanics are so stiff that by the time I pick it up and turn around, there are three things like trying to bite my face off in the game. And I was finding myself taking it, chucking it, and running away. Maybe I'm just bad at survival horror games. I don't know. I'll let you be the judge of that. If you want to try it and then shoot us a comment, let us know what you think about the mechanics of the game. The story at times was really cool, but also really hard to follow. It's like they hint to the fact that some of the residents in this house may be dead, and then again, they're not. And then what's holding them here? So to me, the story's kind of all over the place, and it doesn't explain enough. And then the whole buildup you get to the end just to find out that this tree that's been whispering to you the whole game, I know. You find out that this tree is a big demon, basically. Spoiler alert, by the way. I should have said this earlier. Anybody who listens to the show knows that we go full spoiler, so sorry about that if you're new here. Um, Essentially, you do come to the end of the game. You fight there's this big boss battle. That's another thing. Besides this, I think I remember maybe one other boss battle. And then the map. Don't get me started on the map. Actually, you've already got me started on the map. I know you didn't say anything. It's me. I'm the problem. It's me. The map will tell you rooms that you've entered, but it'll tell you like room number one, room number two. It doesn't tell you specific rooms, but then it'll tell you to go back to Edward's room without telling you which room is Edward's room. I'm not going to remember all that shit. I've just been running around here fighting for my life for the past 20 minutes in this scene. I'm not going to remember to run back and be like, oh, this was Jeremy's room. I don't know where I'm at half the time. I don't even know how to navigate through my own apartment. I don't even know what room I'm in now. So that was an issue I had with the map. And then sometimes a little puzzle piece will pop up and it'll light up green, so you could solve that puzzle. Sometimes there are puzzles in rooms that never show up on the map. Sometimes there are rooms that say you can complete a puzzle. You don't have everything to complete that puzzle. I don't know. Maybe it was a weird glitch. I will say this: there was a really bad glitch issue at the launch of this game, and then I downloaded it, and it did fix a lot of issues, but some of them I still had. So, in the middle of this whole ramble, let me just back up and slow it down a little bit and give you my final thoughts, so to say. Overall, this is not a terrible game. I know I've shit on it for the past, what, 10 minutes, roughly, give or take. I compared it to Moss and Pool Noodles and God knows what else. Uh, it's not a horrible game. I did find it enjoyable. It did have me intrigued. I did want to get to the end and find out what was going on with the story. But then when I got to the end, I was more confused at the end than I was when I started the damn game. So I don't know. Maybe I'm confused now. I don't remember if I like this game or not. I don't even know what game I'm talking about. I've already forgotten. Resident Evil 2? No. Kidding. All right. I'm going to wrap this up because, like I said, at this point, it's just rambling and banter. I enjoy this game enough to give it one playthrough. I will probably never pick it up again, and I'm not really that interested in finishing the Emily story. Now, I did start it, and it is a little different, but at the same time, like I think I actually like her dialogue more than I like any of the dialogue with Edward Carnby. Overall, out of 10, I'd probably rate this game five, 5.5. Like I said, if you've got nothing else to play, it's worth a playthrough at least once with one of the characters. Um, Other than that, like it's not very memorable in my opinion. I feel like a game that took so long to come out should have been more polished and should have had more to it, should have had more options. There was no upgrade options on any of the weapons. What you see is what you get. If you got a pistol, you got a pistol. If you got a Tommy gun, that's it. There's no upgrade to it. There's no open world. There's no pick up a muzzle or extended clip. What you see is what you get with this game. Fine, I can deal with it. Not a big deal. With that being said, I give it, you know what? I'm going to be generous. I'm going to give it a 5.5 out of 10. Play it at least once if you got nothing going on. I strongly suggest that if you could pick up Fallout 4 and play the Fallout 4 the new version that has the new update, I would pick that up instead. Again, not to kind of crap all over this game, but it was mid to me. So with that being said, sorry about the short review and my rambling. I know it's usually nice to hear two people on here, but Derek couldn't make it tonight, so I figured I'd hold down the fort tonight. Oh, I do have more video game reviews coming up. We're also in the middle of our X-Men 97 review. So like and subscribe, share, comment, do all the above. And we've got more content coming out soon. So with that being said, oh, we are a weekly show. We've been doing bi-weekly between Derek and I and our jobs, and we've got this new endeavor with purchasing our local movie theater. It is hard for us to get on here and do weekly, so stay tuned. We are still working on it for our loyal listeners and for the new people just coming into this. We are trying to get new content out as quickly as possible. So we love you. Thank you for bearing with us. And see you next week on whatever it is we're doing. We kind of make this up as we go. So, as always, everybody have a good night. So long. Good night. See you guys.